Hi readers, Chris here, coming to you tonight with another review that I have mixed feelings about, and that is going to be The Martian by Andy Weir. I decided I want to try something a little bit different tonight, and for the first half of this video, the first few minutes, I'm going to be doing a totally non-spoiler review on my thoughts, and then at the end of the video, I am going to talk about a little bit of spoilers. Don't worry, I will tell you before that time comes if you don't want to be spoiled. So I'm going to jump right in. If you don't know anything about The Martian is your basic survival story, except in this case, our main character, Mark Watney, is trying to survive on Mars. Him and his crew went to Mars on a routine mission. An accident happened. His crew thought that he was dead. They left the planet, and it turns out he survived, and they did not know about it. But now Mark has to survive on his own, alone, on a planet. On not just any planet, on Mars. So I thought the whole setup for this book was really, really cool. I mean, I don't read a ton of books about space travel, like some, but not a ton. So I thought that that whole setup was really, really cool. Watching Mark try to figure everything out, meh. Yeah. And then about halfway through the book or so, we start to see some scenes with his counterparts on Earth. So NASA, some other people that kind of realize he's up there and try to pull together to try and help him. So again, another of the things I liked was seeing the collaboration, not just between the different people and the members of NASA, but different countries get involved, like different people from different walks of life get involved. It really becomes like a human planet collaboration to try and save one man's life, and I thought that was really, really interesting. What kind of didn't work for me with this book is two things. One is going to be Mark Watney's character himself. Now, the way that this book is written is as log notes. So it's supposed to be Mark logging onto his computer, like you'll see right here, it says log, what is this one? 192. It's Mark typing into a computer so that he can share what it is he's doing, how he's surviving, in case anyone wants to study it later or anyone's in the same position in the future. Now, because of that, Mark did not talk a lot about his past. He did not talk a lot about his time on Earth or anything that happened before this trip. And there is a little bit of a Q&A with the author in the back of this book, and he said that that was intentional. And I can totally see the value in doing it that way from a, the way that the book is written perspective. But for me personally, I feel like I didn't get to know Mark as well as I would have liked to. Like, if I had gotten to know some of his past, then I could have known some of his hopes and dreams and, like, what's really driving him to survive. I never really got that feeling reading the book. I never got a feeling of, like, true hopelessness or true despair. And then I never got the feeling of, like, true relief and happiness when things went well. So that part kind of was lacking a little bit for me. But on the flip side, I will say what I did like about Mark's character is that he's super funny. He's super humorous. Even in his little log notes, he makes really funny comments. And I thought that the humor element was a really super great add to this book. So again, it's hard because one thing I kind of didn't like, but another thing I did really like. So just to be clear, I'm probably going to repeat this a couple times, but I did overall like this book. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Again, the other thing I said that I did like was the chapters that are taking place on Earth from the people of Earth's perspective. Just to reiterate, I like the way that everyone came together to try and save Mark's life. Everyone, like, no one really hesitated. I mean, maybe one person did, kind of technically, but for the most part, like, no one hesitated to save him. There was no amount of money spared or technology, people's time, people's energy. Everyone stepped up to try and bring Mark home. So those are the things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it. Oh, and one thing I almost forgot to mention, another thing that's kind of in the did not like category is there is a lot of like technical terminology in here. And yes, this is totally just me, but because I'm not like a super techie person, a lot of that stuff went over my head, and it just got to the points at time where it was just too much for me. I could feel my eyes kind of glazing over. Now, some people might love that stuff, but for me personally, I'm just not that techie person, so I could have done without some of that stuff. So again, it's 2 things I can name that I didn't like, 2 things I named that I liked, so it kind of comes out on an even keel. That ends my non-spoiler review section of The Martian. I am going to start and talk about some spoilers now. So if you haven't read this book, you don't want to be spoiled at all, now is your time to leave the video, come back later if you decide to read this book at some point in the future. 3, 2, 1, spoilers, here we go. Mark survives at the end of this book. Big spoiler. And I knew going into this book that that was going to happen because I've seen the movie. I really liked the movie. I loved Matt Damon in the movie. So when I picked up this book, I had really high expectations that I would like this book as much as I liked the movie, even knowing what was going to happen. I'm one of those crazy people where, like, spoilers don't bother me. So I knew about his poop potatoes. I knew that he survives. I know his crew comes back. Like, I knew all that stuff was going to happen. But for me, it's always been more about the journey. And as I talked about in the non-spoiler part, it was the journey part that kind of had some ups and downs for me. Again, like I mentioned, all his technical stuff really kind of went over my head at points. And honestly, I felt at times that things went too easy for Mark, like too easy. There's only a couple times when things really go bad for him. One is there's that explosion where that kind of blows up the hab and he has to sleep outside the hab a little bit. And then he has that other thing where he short circuits a wrench, and then of course the big one at the end is when he flips the rover over on his way to the site, and he gets stuck there for a little bit. But through all those incidents, there were so many other things that went right for him. So that's why I kind of felt like he didn't struggle as much as like some other Survivor type stories that I've read. Or watched, I should say. I don't know that I've actually read a bunch of Survivor tales, but like I've seen the TV show Survivor, and I'm familiar with, the name is escaping me at the minute, but you know, the one with Tom Hanks and Wilson where he's, you know, the lone man on an island, like those type of things. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, him surviving out in the wild, that I believed. This one I had a little bit of a hard time believing. And then I want to talk about a little bit about the people on Earth, because those are the chapters I really, really liked. There were so many different, like, moving pieces. You know, we had the one guy, the main guy, Venkat, and then we had Mindy on the satellites. We had the guy Bruce at NASA that was kind of trying to mess things up, and then we had Mitch, who was, you know, trying to push trying to advocate for the crew is what I was trying to get out of my mouth here. And then Annie on the PR side of things, like how they were going to spin it and present it to the public. I thought all that stuff was fascinating. And those were kind of my favorite parts of the book, because there was that human interaction there that of course is missing with Mark being by himself on Mars. So again, that just might be a result of me looking for some sort of connection that poor Mark can't have. But again, because I don't know a lot about him, I just didn't feel that connected to him, despite the fact that I know he's a botanist and I know he's funny, he curses, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, the only part in the book that I really felt like really bad for Mark was when the first time that NASA tries to launch that like supply shuttle and it doesn't make it out of the atmosphere and it blows up. Like that one, I was like, oh God, I feel so bad. Like they put so much work and effort into it and everything went wrong. So that's the part that, the only point I think in the book that I truly felt like, oh man, what's he gonna do? What's gonna happen? Like, how's he gonna get out of this? Again, knowing what I knew, that he would survive, there's still a part of me that's like, well, how is he gonna survive? Because that's always been the most interesting thing to me. Not the what, the how. And again, that's just me. You can call me crazy, whatever you want. So I don't know what else I can really say about the book at this point. Those are my thoughts, both spoiler and non-spoiler. But I would like to hear from you. Do you like spoilers? Do you not like spoilers? And have you read this book? Are you a science person that absolutely loved it? Are you like me, where it was just okay? Or did you not like it at all? Let me know in the comments section below. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you like this type of format, non-spoiler and spoiler. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. I do new videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and on Friday. Thanks everyone. Happy reading.